How to make it worse. Apex Legends, Episode 1. This is just another presentation to EA and Respawn to make Apex as bad as it could possibly be. You know, subscribing and liking helps. You see I have 13 subs. I need it. It has to take at least 30 minutes to load into one game, giving you time to think about why you enjoy suffering, all right? If you want to load into the game faster, you have to use crossplay and play against the PC players. If you're on controller, just throw it out the window and play with the TV remote. It will make no difference at all. Either way, you're cooked. This needs to be improved. For every console, there needs to be at least 14 PC players to make it fair. They have aim assist. And if they have aim assist, then listen, it's not fair against a PC player who has a keyboard and mouse. Like the keyboard and mouse may be designed to aim and track, but like, okay, they have aim assist. It's not fair. You got to make it fair. You need to have at least 14 PC players for every console player to make it fair. Okay. The advantage they have is absolutely game breaking, and these PC players, these poor PC players, they can't enjoy this game without them. So now, on top of that, if you're new to the game, you know, our team at Respawn Entertainment was way too lazy to make an actual campaign after the game's been out for like 6 years. So, you know, we couldn't make a whole campaign that was designed to actually teach you the mechanics of the game before you get cooked and ranked. But we have lots of lore for these legends. But if you want to read it on the wiki, if you actually care, you know, just read it on the wiki. Fine. Who cares? Matter of fact, you should have to read the whole life story of this character before you unlock them. That way you really know what you're getting into. But, you know, as you're waiting for the whole entire game to load in, for right now, you can take a look at the legends that were added recently as well. We have a crazy Chinese lesbian who eats fentanyl, and she's from another dimension. You got a short Filipino lesbian. She heals people's shields, so you know anybody who uses her may or may not use her abilities and just decide to just start looking off into daisies and just do nothing the whole entire game. So, you know, you might end up dead for no reason because your teammate doesn't know what they're doing. Matter of fact, we also have another character who is somebody's grandpa who kind of snuck in here. He's a billionaire, he's a gunslinger, and he probably remembers slavery. So those are the three most recent characters that we have in this game. So just so you know what we're getting into. Now, you can take the time to realize that it's like, okay, we have only one legend that makes the game fun. You know, we nerfed him into oblivion, right? That was your favorite character that you like to play. Okay, yeah, nerfed him into obscurity. You're never playing him again. So what we need to do, we also buffed the character that everybody hates and that everybody and their dead grandma complained about. We buffed him. So now also, we made sure that everyone in the matches that you go into is also using that same character. That way you can uninstall the game even faster. Now, we finally get into the game. The second that you land, you immediately get jumped by a whole squad that's trying to put your whole bloodline into a casket, right? You know, meanwhile, your teammates are wasting their abilities on nothing. They're stopping and smelling the roses. They're hitting the default dance. They don't know what's going on. You know, their 14 brain cells are just, you know, bouncing around in their head. They have no idea what's going on, you know? And then you also have every time the enemy kills you, they should teabag you, right? And they should also steal your shoes as well. They should definitely steal your shoes right off your feet before you die. And then, you know, you would die after that and get sent back to the lobby. Now, if you somehow manage to pick up a shotgun and you shoot someone point blank, this is Apex Legends. Why would you expect to do more than like 14 damage? Come on now, you should know better than that. You know, when you try to rely on common sense in this game, it should take away your legend tokens. Honestly, I feel like you should have learned this lesson a long time ago. It should have been something that you already knew. we're going to start, taking away those tokens from you because you haven't really got it through your head. I feel like we should take away your syndicate gold as well for that. If you keep doing it, if you don't really get the message that common sense does not apply here, right? So every time you shoot somebody point blank, you empty a whole clip into their skull, or if you attempt to have fun, right? It takes away those legend tokens, takes away the syndicate gold, it takes away whatever you need in order to, make you feel like you play the game and you actually have a rank that's over 4. Yeah, you're cooked. So now, really reinforcing the idea of being against reality. So that's exactly what we need. So this is a team-based game when you play trios, right? So your teammates will have to get a lobotomy before every match. That's necessary, as we explained before. That way they can push the enemy with no shield and they just die instantly. That's exactly what we need, and that's exactly how you need to play the game. That's how you need to understand the new mechanics. That's how you need to have fun when you play the game. So also, the second you witnessed his murder, and you immediately get third-partied and die. So you definitely gonna have to get third-partied by the whole Teen Titans and the whole Justice League. Yeah, you're cooked. So you're definitely dead. And even this can be even better, right? That's just how it normally is in the game if you haven't noticed. So you got to understand that at this point it can be even better. So we have to force them to stay as a team after they lose, making every game a headache. This is the same as when you group the smart kid and you put him together with the special ed kid in order to make the special ed kid a little bit less special ed. It's like that kind of thing where you got to make sure that we put the two together, right? So that way everybody is equally, ready to jump off a cliff and ready to uninstall. So also we take away solos and we give it back whenever we want, right? When we sense people are having fun, we have our spider sense tingling up there. Okay, they're having fun. We got to capitalize on that, right? So even on solos, you'd somehow still get jumped. I don't know how you get jumped on solos, but that's exactly what happens. On top of that, there needs to be a change where you can start teaming, and the game encourages you to team when you play. So in solos, you can just have a voice chat with everybody. You can just decide to start teaming. And you can just find somebody to jump in the whole entire game, and you can just snipe them and do your thing by going into solos and making the game just worse for everybody. That's exactly what we need, right? So you get bonus points if you get everybody to join the same team and you defeat the purpose of the game. So you get bonus points if you actually do that. Also, if you're just walking around in the open and you're trying to have fun, you're just trying to get through the zone, or you're trying to do whatever you need to do, you get sniped by a random bot. Of course, they have the best aim ever. It's a bot. We know exactly what's going on. But when you die to him, you have to write an apology. It needs to be double spaced, Times New Roman. I need it coherent sentences with it as well. I also need I need a couple paragraphs of it as well. I need a couple paragraphs, at least like 5 paragraphs to make an essay, from English class and all of that. So I definitely need that. It's got to be a genuine apology, and you need to be expressly and profusely apologizing for existing. That's exactly what I need you to do. I need you to apologize for existing and being born. That way we know and you understand that common sense does not apply anymore. So you have to be like, okay, I apologize for existing, and I apologize for deciding to play this game. That's exactly what you need to do when you load up Apex Legends. When you get killed by these bots, that's exactly what you need to do. And it won't let you go to another game if you don't complete the apology, right? You need to sit there on your keyboard. Especially, it will be very horrible if you do this on Xbox, because you have the text screen that would come up when you're trying to text somebody on Xbox. It's horrible when you use it on Xbox. It doesn't even recommend the proper words when you're trying to say something. It's awful. But also, you got to go through a spell check when it comes to the apology as well. You can't just say, you have to spell out the word YOU instead of just putting the letter U. You have to make sure that you have proper punctuation, all of these different things when it comes to your apology for existing. Okay, you need to apologize for existing. If you want extra credit, you would also need to apologize for your whole entire bloodline existing as well. So you need to apologize all the way back from the cavemen that we were spawned from. You need to apologize from each generation all the way down to you, and then you can go back to play the game. So on top of that, we also have a we need to understand that this is a battle royale, right? No, it's not. It is a game with like 20 people and like 10 bots to make it seem like a battle royale. Instead, I need the zone to close twice as fast because we can't get enough of the zone. It is, the most integral part of the game. Everybody likes it when the zone moves twice as fast for no reason. Everybody loves that. So we have it and we put them in the end as fast as possible. That way, nobody realizes that the game is dying and they think it's just more fast paced. They don't realize it because they're too busy, having an aneurysm and a headache with all of the things that are going on. You got to understand it from a bigger perspective, right? So you also have the next part where you have to flip a coin, right? If it lands on heads, you get to hear footsteps, and like any other game that is based in reality. In tails, you hear nothing and you get executed instantly. Especially when you're trying to heal or you're trying to put on shields after getting jumped for the 42nd time. It's much better than just guessing like usual and just trying to be like, oh, am I going to hear anything? Am I not? Listen, you got to see and understand if this part of the game is going to work or not. You got to understand, you got to guess it. Okay, and heads or tails is a very fair way of doing so. So now we're on to the next part of it where it comes to the cheating. The cheating is very important, right? Because we could do something about the cheaters. We could have an anti-cheat. We could listen. That takes money. That takes time. That takes effort. They're just gonna make another, kind of cheat in order to get back on the game. We know this. So it will be funnier to just watch them stream snipe people and walk around in God mode. That will be so much better, right? Giving people aneurysms when they're trying to relax after a 34-hour shift. Listen, we have to address this kind of thing. We need an extra cheat software to help cheaters and give them even more hacks that they didn't think to add. We also need a cheater hub where they can get together and target you specifically in order to send a cheater to kill them in every single game that they play, right? Now, listen, it may seem unfair. It's like, well, he's a cheater. That's not fair for me to go up against a cheater. I don't have the cheats. Listen, we got it. All right. You can challenge him to a 1v1 with none of his mod, none of his cheats at all. If you lose regardless, you got to uninstall the game. Listen, you got to uninstall the game. The game will uninstall itself for you. And if you reinstall the game, everything that you've earned on the game goes right back to zero, right? And these people would be having their hub. So that once you start getting your account back, once you grind it again, you're going to get stream sniped again by these hackers, and it's going to happen once again. So you got to have a new edge to the game. You got to make it a little bit more interesting, or else it's going to get boring after a while. You keep having fun and making the game fair. Listen, that's already been done 1,000 times. We gotta innovate. All right, we gotta elevate. It's 2024. We gotta do so much more, right? So once you pick up a shotgun, you shoot somebody. Like, listen, right? Listen, you shoot somebody point blank with a shotgun. Why do you think you're doing more than 14 damage? Come on now, you know better. If you're playing Apex, you should know better. Keep in mind, if you use something overpowered, you have the audacity, the goal, and the gumption to try and use something overpowered. Listen, it's gonna be like you hitting them with a shoelace, but when they hit you, you get turned to dust like Thanos, right? And it's very simple. And honestly, this system is a bit too lenient for me. Now that I really look at it, the enemy should be able to parry the bullets with their heirloom weapons, so you do 0 damage instead of 14 damage. I feel like that's a little bit more fair. That's a little bit more, streamlined and lenient. It's so much better. And then the only way to get these kinds of weapons to do that is if you donate your life savings to EA, right? It's a very reasonable trade-off that you need. It's integral to the game's balance. I feel like that kind of pay to win part of it definitely needs to be a part of the game, and there absolutely should be a new addition to it where you are able to pay in order to just block everybody's bullets and just do 0 damage instead, and you can just walk around like that. I'd much rather have that than have a game that's fair and fun and balanced. Like, listen, come on, we've already done this kind of thing. Now, every time you die in ranked, you go back down to like let's say copper 14, and and even if you die as well and you get revived, it still counts as a death. So even if you get revived, you still get sent back down to copper 14. We didn't forget about that. Also, all this time that people have been building up their ranks in every season to get better, make them feel like they're good about, they feel like they're good at the game. When they play Apex, listen, I don't like how happy they are. I don't like when they actually feel like they're good at a game that they play. I'd much rather prefer suffering, headaches, death, destruction, that kind of thing. I'd much rather prefer that. So they can go back down to copper and terrorize everyone who has no idea what they're doing, right? So if you were super great at the game, you die once, you get sent back down to copper, okay, but now you're with everybody else that has no idea what they're doing, making it easier for you, all right? That way you can teach everybody else the hard way and make it much more impactful once they get back down to like something like, respectable, like bronze, where they can get back down to. I feel like that is so much more streamlined, so much more fair of a way where you would rank these kinds of players, because this is what we're talking about. Listen, also, when you shoot at the enemy and they start doing slides, backflips, somersaults, mental gymnastics all in front of you, if you try that, you'd get jumped by the Avengers, and you'd also, it may seem unfair, right? But there's an animation where if you try that, the animation plays and your character trips over their own shoelaces, right? They got to trip over their own shoelaces like a Looney Tunes villain, and they have to fall, and when they fall, you take fall damage. That makes it much more realistic and fun, because can you do all of the crazy things that they do in Apex? Of course not. So you have to make it a little bit more realistic and fun. That way everybody, it makes it all fair. All right, also, it's June, right? What do we have to do for June? Add all the Titanfall characters back, because everybody's been asking, Titanfall 3. Listen, we're going to add Titanfall, okay? But what we need, we're going to add all the Titanfall characters back into Apex as just like, a pack of like all of these characters, for, the 18 people that still play these kinds of games. And we're going to make all of them transgenders. All of them. We're going to make all of the Titanfall characters transgenders, even the robots. It doesn't matter. The robots can do their own thing. We're going to do that for Pride Month, and we're going to have all of them in the game doing their thing for their pride, okay? And they're going to play the game like that. And, listen, and also casual and ranked are very different, okay? But when you play casual, you still have to fight the whole entirety of TSM, Optic, and FaZe Clan every time you join the game. Listen, it's all because you won a game back in 1400 BC, and now the matchmaking sees you as a threat to national security. So that is the difference between, a regular player and somebody like you. You won a game way back then, so you have to be up against them. That's the same kind of level of playing. We level the playing field, we put you two together, and that's how it works, right? So that way, listen, we can address the issue, okay? There's an actual address that we can make. We can make it much more fair. Your weapons need a nerf, okay? Your weapons need a nerf, and it would make them heal the enemy instead, okay? Your weapons would make them heal the enemy, and that way, they'll give up and they'll become your best friend. I feel like that's a lot more fair. That makes a lot more sense. And that has so much more going for it than what we would normally be doing in this kind of situation, because listen, if I have to go up against every FaZe Clan member in existence in some random game of Apex, I'd give up too. But at the same time, this game doesn't have any logic to it, and it's never supposed to. Okay, we already been over that. Logic, common sense. Why are we doing these kinds of things over here? Come on now, we're too advanced for this. Now, when you're actually winning the game, you definitely have to add something where you start lagging and you die. Has to be something that you absolutely need to do. You have to just lag and die. It also could be better if you lag so hard that you go under the map, and then you have to look at everybody else from under the map, and you have to stay there for a couple games, and you get to look at everybody else have fun all except for you. You know, it may seem like you got put in timeout like in preschool, but like listen, it's all part of the game. It's all part of the experience and the reality of it. Okay, that's how it works over here. All right, this will mean now, after all of that, when you get back to the lobby, we're going to give you the lamest heirloom you've ever seen in your life, and you get to do it all over again. Now, and that would be the end of what I have to say about this this plan that I have for Apex Legends. I feel as though Respawn and EA would absolutely love this, and they would they'll go ahead and implement everything that I have here. But listen, mind you, I have not played Apex Legends in years because I value my mental health and I don't want to be sent to Arkham Asylum. That's exactly why I don't play Apex Legends, because you already know what's going on here. Okay? How to make it worse. Apex Legends Episode 1. This is just another presentation to EA and Respawn to make Apex as bad as it could possibly be. You know, subscribing and liking helps. You see I have 13 subs. I need it. It has to take at least 30 minutes to load into one game, giving you time to think about why you enjoy suffering. All right. If you want to load into the game faster, you have to use crossplay and play against the PC players. If you're on controller, just throw it out the window and play with the TV remote. It will make no difference at all. Either way, you're cooked. This needs to be improved. For every console, there needs to be at least 14 PC players to make it fair. They have aim assist. And if they have aim assist, then listen, it's not fair against a PC player who has a keyboard and mouse. Like the keyboard and mouse may be designed to aim and track, but like, okay, they have aim assist. It's not fair. You got to make it fair. You need. Oh, I close these videos by taking 30 seconds to roast the life out of someone random. I apologize to anyone watching. They're about to see an abomination. His tattoos look like they were drawn with crayon. He hasn't brushed his teeth since he planted that watermelon. He wrote "roast me" in invisible ink like anybody is seeing the sign he's holding up. His hair has two different colors and so does his teeth. His gut is hanging off the side of the sofa, trying to get away just like I would. Any man who dyes their hair pink needs to be behind bars. Somebody shock his nose ring with a taser. Diabolical, atrocious, and despicable work. Oh, I close these videos by taking 30 seconds to roast the life out of someone random. I apologize.